things continue to be sticky surrounding this MS-13 gang member, Killmar Garcia, but the Democrats continue to try to make light of the situation on his behalf for whatever reason. But I'm telling y'all one thing. This is exactly what we voted for.
The soldiers from Fort Carson, Colorado, using thermal and infrared cameras on the striker, watching for the tiniest movements along the border.
Even like a little mouse.
Up to a little mouse?
Yeah, up to a little mouse, like up to like a mile out.
With the strikers and soldiers, President Trump is creating a border barrier that is more than just a wall. He has now authorized the military to take control of a 60-foot strip of federal land along the border, stretching from California to New Mexico. Now, migrants would be crossing into a military installation. It would allow soldiers to make apprehensions, a job that, until now, has been reserved for the soldiers from Fort Carson, Colorado.
Hey, I tell you what, I'm all for it if it's going to keep cracking down on, what's happening illegally, well, what's crossing through this border illegally, like fentanyl and all these criminals and things of that nature. For sure, I'm all for it. Hey, man, finally. It's going to take a little more than a wall. I don't know what we're going to do about the Democrats, though. I really don't know.
The wife of Killmar Abrego Garcia just did President Trump a huge favor.
How so?
Guess what she did? Jen Abrego did something so innocent on TikTok, yet so damaging to the left's narrative. Remember when they were trying to tell us that Killmar Abrego Garcia has no criminal records, no gang ties, and an innocent father? But this is what Jen Abrego posted on TikTok.
Yep,
a picture of her and her loving
out.
husband with an emoji covering his hands. Why? So the left is saying that Killmar Abrego Garcia was an innocent father and he is a victim of President Trump's administration. But let's confirm. This is the picture that President Trump has posted with Killmar Abrego's hands showing that he is an MS-13 member. Even in the picture posted on X by Senator Van Hollen, Mr. Garcia still has that tattoo on his hand. So let me call out Jen Albrego's wife. If your husband is an innocent father, as you state, how about you post the picture without that emoji?
Of course she's not going to do that. And for whatever reason, you have the Democrats now coming out, oh, this is Photoshop. This is Photoshop. Oh, if you're going to do Photoshop, do a better job. And it's like, no. You got some people who did, put on there the MS-13 right above the tattoo to show you how it was encrypted, I guess. And people mistook that as, oh, see, you guys actually put MS-13 on his knuckles. And that's so, it's like, come on, bro. Anybody with common sense can see what they were showing you. They were showing you that the symbol of, I don't even know, it was like a marijuana and a skull means MS. But they don't care. Now, speaking of Mr. Garcia's wife, Chris Van Hollen had no idea who the deported MS-13 member's wife was. You know what? No. Y'all got to see this on a big screen. Hold up. Audio out of whack. Come on now, y'all. Do. Come on.
We're joined by his wife, Jennifer. By his mother, Cecilia, by his brother, Cesar.
He didn't even look that way.
The rest of you who are joining us
look past her.
in solidarity with the Constitution.
How did he pay for this trip is another question, right? Yeah, Tom Homan actually responded to all this. I can't wait for y'all to see. So check out this interaction.
This was
Who did pay for this trip?
This was an officially cleared, congressional trip, cleared on a bipartisan basis. Yes, like every other trip.
Who did pay?
What's not funny? I gotta bring it back down to we gotta humble ourselves. It's right here what Salty Texan says. Rachel Warren's mom paid for it. All the other angel moms paid for it. I don't think that they would approve of their tax dollars going towards that. They care about everybody else but their own, man. I'm glad Tom Homan responded to this, though. He responded, man, in Tom Homan fashion.
Senator Van Hollen has obviously got a chance to meet with him, but he had to travel to El Salvador to get any information.
What is that base?
Does that concern you at all? I mean, these are people sent by the United. I mean, in his case, sent by the United States, and not even a U.S. senator could get any information about his whereabouts or the condition of his incarceration without actually going down and making the trip to El Salvador himself.
Well, he obviously knew his whereabouts because he went there to see him. But you know what bothers me more than that is a U.S. senator traveled to El Salvador on taxpayer dime to meet with an MS-13 gang member, public safety threat terrorist. I mean, in the meantime, the day before he traveled, an illegal alien was arrested for murder, were released to the streets rather than honoring an ICE detainer in his very own state. What concerns me is Van Hollen never went to the border the last 4 years on Joe Biden when he had a 600% increase in sex trafficking in women and children. You have a record number of no-inspected terrorists crossing that border. You had 250,000 Americans die from fentanyl overdose because of the open border. You had over 4,000 illegal aliens died making that journey, which is a historic record. What shocks me is he's remained silent on the travesty that happened on our southern border. Many people died. Thousands of people died. I met with hundreds of angel moms and dads who buried their children that were murdered by an illegal alien. How many angel moms and dads has he met in the state of Maryland? That's what concerns me.
It's beyond concerning because you see where their morals lie, where their attention or what they choose to give attention definitely tells you what type of person or people these people are. And they give no care in the world for the results of what Joe Biden's and his administration's presidency did in terms of allowing people to cross that border and taking the lives of Americans. I'm not saying that death is going to happen. I'm not saying that. Anywho, he aided in escalating the situation, and nobody's upset at that. Instead, we're like, oh, wait, no, you're deporting somebody who's not an MS-13 gang member, even though he's been found out to be that by 2 judges. And then want to lie on Trump about it, too. Talking about
Okay, let's talk about the polling, then I want to talk about it.
Talk about Donald Trump. Apparently pardoned him, or not pardoned him, but said he was free to be in the U.S. Something like that. I don't know. But anywho, a CNN panel aghast to learn that even their own polling shows Donald Trump's approval ratings on immigration is positive. Turns out Democrats fighting harder for illegals than American citizens isn't working.
Okay, let's talk about the polling. Then I want to talk about another thing you mentioned, which is the optics of it. But on the polling, because I think this is important. He's right. Trump has his best favorability on the issue of immigration broadly. But can I ask you to explain something to me?
Please.
You have some polling that shows Americans would be okay with everybody being deported who's here illegally. There's also polling that asks more specifically, if you have been in the United States for 10 years, you paid taxes, you have no criminal record, but you are undocumented, do you support deporting those people? 63% oppose that. So how do we even make sense of these numbers?
Yeah, sometimes it's so interesting. You poll the public, and it turns out the public can hold conflicting views even within themselves, right? And it's part of my job to figure out, okay, where do they actually feel on the overall immigration picture? And I think it's important to note, as we have mentioned, is that Donald Trump's net approval rating on immigration is actually positive, which is very much unlike his first term. If you ask, are we on the right track or the wrong track when it comes to immigration policy, the plurality say that we're on the right track, which is very different from where we were just a few months ago under Joe Biden. So yeah, you see those polling and you see it's conflicting. It kind of actually reminds me a little bit of the gun control debate, right? Where you see, oh my God, 90% background checks. And then of course you look at ballot measures in places like Nevada and Maine. And then when it's actually on the ballot, it's basically 50-50. In my opinion, on this particular topic, what we're really talking about and the metric we should be looking to is, do people like when they
look at her face.
ask, do you like what Donald Trump's doing on immigration? And at if plurality says yes, which is what's going on, then that's the number that I think is most representative of the public at large.
Yes. But of course, they don't want to acknowledge that. Of course, hold on. Yeah, you see the face right there? Oh, my gosh. The saltiness just. I don't care that most of America agrees. Most of America doesn't actually agree. Is something I'm sure she would say. Yep. There you have it. I mean, come on, man. We're not going for this BS. Nobody wants to continue to see angel moms arise and have to come out and speak out against speak out against these Democrat policies, which enable these situations to take place. And then you have these politicians who don't say anything about it, but want to go aid any and everybody else who's not a part of America, at least legally. Now, check out this interaction between Dana Bash and Chris Van Hollen right here. Trump police and confidential informant says Abrego Garcia was an active MS-13 member. Can you say that he is not? And did you ask him point blank? Listen to his response.
President Trump says that some of Abrego Garcia's tattoos signify that he's a member of MS-13. In 2019, police alleged a confidential informant claimed that Abrego Garcia was an active MS-13 member. His wife and his attorney deny that, of course. Can you say with absolute certainty that he is not, nor has he ever been a member of the MS-13 gang? And did you ask him point blank?
Well, Dana, what Donald Trump is trying to do here is change the subject. The subject at hand is...
You mean like what you literally just did?
Is that he and his administration are defying a court order to give Abrego Garcia his due process rights. They are trying to litigate on social media what they should be doing in the courts. They need to put up or shut up in the courts. Let me tell you, and I decided to write this down so I could be absolutely accurate as to what Federal District Court Judge Zinnes said about these allegations by the Trump administration. Quote, "No evidence linking Abrego Garcia to MS-13 or any terrorist activity has been presented to the court." That's where to litigate this. Mm-hmm. It's been litigated in many other places. So I'm not going to get into the details because the whole purpose of our court system is for them to adjudicate these things, not for Donald Trump to go off on social media.
Yeah, you're right. They have not, there hasn't been a court hearing for them to put forward evidence in the first place, which is your whole point. But since you were the one person to have met with him, and since this is a thing, you say on social media, it's what we hear from Donald Trump and Republicans every day, all day long, you didn't ask him?
I didn't ask him that because I know what his answer is.
I didn't ask him that because I know what his answer is. Man, this man is such a sorry sack of crap. I mean, bro, he worse than Jessica Turloff. Now, they said, oh, here we go. She's claiming that Garcia's legal status was approved by the Trump administration in 2019, and every year since then. He was checked in with the Department of Homeland Security, and no one said anything about him being a gangbanger.
An MS-13 guy. Let's be very clear about this. The accusation of being MS-13 is based on a double hearsay testimony. They never followed up with it. And a detective who weeks later was indicted for sharing confidential information. His legal status, Abrego Garcia's, was approved by the Trump administration in 2019. And every year since then, he has checked in with the Department of Homeland Security. And nobody has said anything about him being a gangbanger.
Until he was?
No, not until anything.
He became a prop.
To this day. It's not about being a prop. There will be other senators that are looking into these because it is reported that over 75% of the people that were on that plane have not been convicted of anything. And the MS-13 guy, let's be very...
Have not been convicted of anything. What does that matter? You're here illegally. That's a crime. Now, how true it is for Trump approving the status of this guy, I don't know. But somebody said this is factually incorrect. He was designated an MS-13 gang member by the bond judge based on the evidence submitted at the hearing and appeal review in 2019. It's not possible you can be this stupid. You must be pathologically dishonest. Maybe you should offer sanctuary to Killmar in your home. Unless you're also not comfortable with wife beaters living in your house. And these are some documents that apparently he posted. Okay, evidence shows that he was a verified member. Okay, so they got that highlighted. What else? Yeah, I don't know what's up with the Democrats and trying to down this hill. I really don't get it. Here's something sad, man. 5 MS-13 gang members here in the U.S. illegally killed a 15-year-old boy with knives and matches and cut his body into pieces and put it into severed garbage bags, y'all.
A 15-year-old boy in Maryland, the teen last seen back in February, and Fox 5 obtaining court documents indicating the child was found dismembered. Fox 5's Tisha Lewis joining us live from Frederick tonight with the latest details. Tisha.
New disturbing details emerging from those court documents. The teen last seen February 24th, his mother reported him missing from this neighborhood. The next day, his body discovered between 24 and 48 hours later. His bloody remains, his hair discovered in a wooded area. Now 5 suspects are arrested. They were arrested Friday in connection to the death of 15-year-old Limber Lopez Funes. Again, his body was later found in the Gambrel State Park area. Court documents say the murder occurred near a stream bed close to a large rock. Frederick County Sheriff's Office says the suspects are all here in the United States illegally. ICE has lodged detainers against them. 21-year-old Alexis Lopez confirmed MS-13 gang member 22-year-old Jose Ramos Lopez and 20-year-old Ismael Rivera Canales are all charged with first-degree murder. Another confirmed MS-13 gang member 29-year-old Ismael Lopez is charged with accessory to first-degree murder after the fact. A 5th suspect, Almir Reyes, is currently in Pennsylvania, awaiting extradition back to Frederick and faces charges in connection to the teen's murder. We spoke with the victim's neighbor.
I mean, it's a terrifying aspect of reality and how common that's starting to become. It's terrifying, really, and thoughts go out to the families and those affected.
It's truly a crazy time we live in right now. Y'all, please be safe and go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life, okay? Please do that.